Hey there, Latin 1. We are on Chapter 5, Marcus to the Rescue. I'm going to give you the glossary first, and then we'll get into some grammar lessons and things like that, and then I'll read aloud to you. And there will be assignments as we go. So make sure you take notes on the grammar. But for right now, glossary, okay? So the first one we see there is si. Everybody say si. Right, si means if, and this is also true in Spanish. If you know any Spanish speakers, you could ask them, the word si means yes, but the word si means if, and there is a difference. So si means if, all right? The next word is dies. Everybody say dies. And this is where we get words like diurnal, diary. I think the Latin word, or the Spanish word dia, is also comes from this. So that's dies. The next word that we see is Calidus. And by the way, this is how we can tell that Calidus is that dies is masculine, because Calidus is modifying it. So everybody say Calidus. Now the feminine version of that would be Calida. Okay? So Calidus, Calida. This is where we get calorie from. This is where I can't think of anything else, to be perfectly honest. But Calidus means warm. Caldera. It's a kind of volcano. The next one is in silwam. In silwam. And we've seen something similar to this. We've seen in horto. Now we see in silwam. I'm going to get to that probably next chapter as to why that is. For right now, recognize that this means into the woods. And we'll talk more about it in the next chapter. Silwa is feminine. Silwa means woods. I prefer the word forest because woods sounds kind of plural. Forest sounds singular. So into the forest. It just doesn't sound like a cool musical is all. Silwa is where we get the name Pennsylvania. It's Penn's Woods because the king owed William Penn a lot of money. And he just gave him a whole bunch of land in America. It's good to be the king. Also, Sylvan Learning Center. They're kind of hearkening this idea of kids going into the woods and learning. It's kind of tying back to Ralph Waldo Emerson and things like that. Next word is ibi. So you've had ubi, now you've got ibi. Okay, ubi means where, ibi means there. Riwus. Riwus. This is masculine. This means stream. This does not mean river. It means stream. Now we do get the word river from it, but it means stream. And I want you to think in terms of like rivulet. A rivulet is like a little meandering of water that like trails off your table. It's a stream. Next one is frigidus. Frigidus. And the feminine of that would be frigida. So frigidus, frigida, that's where we get the word frigid from, refrigerator, frigid air, things like that. The next word is erant, erant, and this means they wander, which means the singular would be erat, 2 R's. This is where we get the word error from. It's also where we get the word errant from. Prope, prope. Prope means near or next to. Prope, it's where we get a verb that we're going to run into in the next, or that we ran into last chapter. Appropinquare is to go nearer. Okay. Wult, wult. Wult means she wants or he wants. I don't really like to use the word wishes. I prefer to use the word wants. It just seems a little stronger. I would say that you could also say wolunt, which means they want. Wult turns to wolunt. I do think the word will comes from this probably. Also the word willy-nilly. You want to, you don't want to. It actually does come from this, and I'll show you how later. The next one is Ignawus. Ignawus. The feminine of that would be Ignawa. And it's actually where we get the word knave in Old English. It's K-N-A-V-E. Somebody's being knavish. But here it means cowardly or lazy, and you kind of have to figure out the proper use of it, given the context of the story. The next one is respondet. Respondet. The plural would be respondent, and obviously you get the word respond from, but I want you to translate it as replies. She replies, he replies. Neque, neque. Okay, so if you see neque on its own, it means and not, right? So I went to the store and I did not remember something. I would use nekwe. However, if I use nekwe, and notice there's dots between it, it means neither nor. So I have neither the time nor the patience to explain it. That would be nekwe. Okay. The next one is temerarius. Temerarius. The feminine would be temeraria. Notice it keeps the I in its stem. Temerarius, temeraria means bold or reckless. To the Romans, there was very little difference, but it's an important difference. Or rash, actually, would be a better word. So you just run off and you do it without thinking. Okay, it's too much courage, basically. It's where we get the word temerity. The next word is one of my favorites, lupus. Now, the feminine of this, because it's an animal, so you need to have a masculine and a feminine, is lupa. And we're going to get into that probably in a couple chapters. But right now, lupus, lupa, it means wolf. That's where we get the word lupine from. Okay. And if you look in your nature books, you will find that the wolf is the canis lupus, and then there's other kinds of wolves. The last one I'm going to go over in this particular video is Perteritus. Notice there's two R's in there. Perteritus. The feminine would be Perterita. Okay. So Perteritus comes from terreo, terere, which we've seen, and it means frightened or terrified. Okay, and it does mean frightened, like on a greater level. So Perteritus, Perterita. All right, I'm going to go over the rest of the words in the glossary, both on this page and further into the chapter in the next video. I'm going to hit the button.